tonight at 5, a retired airman is dead after a Beaver Creek officer opens fire during a domestic dispute. Good evening. I'm Michelle Kingsfield.
And I'm Mark Allen. The shooting occurred about 6:30 last night at 4052 Primrose Place. That is in the Promenade apartment complex.
Megan O'Rourke is live with new details in our top story. Megan?
Mark, Michelle, right now the officer who shot the suspect is on paid administrative leave. That's department policy following any officer-involved shooting. However, this is the first officer-involved shooting in the history of the Beaver Creek Police Department, and tonight officials called the incident tragic. Beaver Creek police officers surround this Promenade apartment complex building, investigating a shooting that involves one of their own. Around 6:30 Sunday night, the Beaver Creek Dispatch Center received several 911 calls for help. Neighbors reporting a domestic dispute between 45-year-old Scott Brogley, a retired master sergeant in the Air Force, and his wife.
I witnessed the woman running away. She got in her vehicle and drove away. The gentleman chased after her, had a handgun.
Do you have the gun?
I grabbed the case and ran up to my apartment.
When the first two officers arrived, Beaver Creek Police Chief John Turner says they immediately tried to make contact with the suspect.
Officers knocked several times, receiving no response. The son of the deceased, who also lives at that residence, arrived on scene and was able to assist the officers in opening the apartment door.
According to police, a chair was partially barricading the door, but they could see a body on the ground.
The door was forced open further, and Brogley, who was an individual laying on the floor, immediately stood up, charged towards the officers with a knife. Officers issued commands for Brogley to drop the knife. However, he continued towards the officers, at which time the officer fired a single shot at Brogley.
Brogley was rushed to Miami Valley Hospital, where he was pronounced dead a short time later. The officer who fired the shot, Sean Williams, is a 5-year veteran to the Beaver Creek Police Department. He was not injured during the incident and is now on paid administrative leave.
His spirits were good, as circumstances dictate, but he seemed to be holding up fairly well.
Promenade apartment residents like Anthony Visich are just relieved no one else was hurt, and say it's shocking to have something like this happen so close to home.
Right down the street from me is kind of crazy. Like I said, it's surprising it's the first one in all the history of Beaver Creek's been around, and the fact that went down last night is kind of shocking, especially we do live in a really nice area and you don't expect that.
And Beaver Creek police tell me this investigation could take a while. They hope to have, at the very least, the initial report wrapped up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Reporting live, Megan O'Rourke, 2 News on your side.